Did you hear that, Totri?
Nah, dude. What are you talking about?
I could have sworn I heard something. Okay, am I going crazy? Like, you can't hear that.
Nah, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, if you can't hear that, at least Cam Skattebo and Shamari Simmons will.
Happy Monday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. I'm Anthony Totri.
Yes, you are.
Joined as always by the one, the only Old Dog Legs, Erik Ruby.
No,
we got Captain Redbeard behind the Mac making all of the magic happen. BC in the chat. David, what is up, guys? Do us a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We appreciate everybody starting their week off the right way with us, whether you are watching live, listening back, watching after the fact on your way home. Does not matter. We appreciate everybody. And we got a lot to get into today. We have got NFL draft, Cam Skattebo, Shamari Simmons boosting their draft stock. Just how high has that stock risen? Getting into Link Rhodes, great name. New Arizona State wide receiver and kickoff return man, where we could see him, what was his past like to get to Arizona State, and then, of course, Bobby Hurley Sun Devils have a date with the Colorado Buffaloes on Tuesday. We will get into that game as well. How is everybody feeling today?
Dude, I'm loving the energy.
Loving the energy. Today. It's just what happens sometimes on Mondays.
Yeah, sometimes you walk into a Monday and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like just like you specifically.
Yeah. I mean, no, that sometimes I do.
That's just humans, right? You know, sometimes you got to be a Garfield. Today, no Garfields on PHNX Sun Devils. None. It is Anthony Totri bringing the energy.
I love lasagna. I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean,
just like Garfield does. If you don't like lasagna, I can't trust you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I don't know how you could not like you share that sentiment, Captain Redbeard. You're sitting back there shaking your head.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, can't trust people that
he's like, you're spitting, brother.
Can't trust people that don't like lasagna. I think that's fair. David in the chat, it's been a while since I've been able to tune in live. Had to bring it back. Absolutely love it, and we do appreciate you. Let's go ahead. Let's dive in to Shamari Simmons and Cam Skattebo and where their draft stock is after a remarkable 2024 season. I do want to start on the defensive side of the ball with Shamari Simmons, specifically because Shamari is participating in the East-West Shrine Bowl, and being able to be on a national stage like that in some of those bowl games, I think does maybe get overlooked at times, especially when you have, star players that don't necessarily play in those types of games, right? You have Shador, I believe, either at the Senior Bowl or Shrine Bowl. I don't think he's playing.
I think he had meetings with the top 3 teams, and then he stopped doing anything.
I don't anticipate Cam Ward doing anything like that. Travis Hunter, you're not going to see any of these guys.
Yeah, duh, right?
Yeah.
But for a player like Shamari, and it fits the mold of Shamari very well, who he's going to be a player that, as we trek the next 8 months until the NFL draft, considering it just takes forever to get there.
3 more months, by the way.
I know. This is a joke.
8 months.
But
I could not stand it if it was 8 months away.
He's going to be the type of player that I feel like the smarter football minds are going to kind of continuously bring up as like, hey, smart teams are going to look for him. And Glenn says a coach is going to see and hear Shamari plays bigger than he looks. Buddha Baker vibes. Yo, the Buddha Baker shout.
Maybe.
I mean, Buddha is one of the best.
I think Shamari's bigger than Buddha. Buddha's
Buddha's a small dude.
How big is Buddha?
Buddha is not a big guy. I don't know how big Buddha is.
He's under 6 foot, I think.
Yeah, I think. No, I think Buddha is like exactly 6 foot.
Is he? Shamari's is listed at 6 foot, $195.
5'10", 194.
I mean, that's a pretty good comp.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good comp right there.
Okay, so like obviously Buddha is insane.
I mean, he's one of the best safeties
we've ever
in the
seen.
league.
Like
well, I don't know about we've ever seen.
Not talking like top 5 all time, but like a consistent run like this, and I'm a Cardinals fan, so like bear
That's
with
valid.
me.
Yeah,
like,
I hear you.
As far as like safeties go in the NFL, he belongs in a caliber that very few
He's
have.
a top 5 safety in the league.
Right. And if you're a top 5 safety in the league, and he has been for a long time, you belong in a very specific conversation. I'm not saying greatest of all time.
Maybe one of the best Cardinal safeties of all time.
I think, yeah. I don't even think that's a question. Right. But I think Shamari, especially like, wow. Glenn with an insanely awesome comparison.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that just made my day.
That's a pretty phenomenal
like
comp
my energy
right
level's
there.
always around 8. I just got put up to like a 9.6.
That's valid.
Like that is, yeah. Glenn says not comparing the future, meaning he plays bigger and looks comparable to Buddha. I see it. I see it, especially because the way that he has a nose for the football as well.
He does have a nose
and especially like Buddha's really good at those behind the line of scrimmage plays, where you kind of have to, as a safety, decide, are you going to like sell out and try to stop whatever's going on? Or are you going to hang back? Like really like split second in the moment decisions. And Shamari was really good at that this year.
Yeah.
And I'm very high on Shamari in the NFL. Not that I think he's going to hit a Buddha Baker type ceiling, but just as somebody who could make a productive career for himself.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about the guy's like journey and the path to get here, right? You get him in front of coaches, in front of scouts, you get him in an NFL franchise, hopefully a good one that's good at developing players. I feel like he'll be one of those guys like, man, he got taken in the late round in the draft, but look at him contributing 1, 2, 3 years into his career.
Yeah, I mean, this guy started his career at Austin Peay, right?
Yeah.
It's such a small school, was there for 2 years, transferring to Arizona State, and both seasons at Arizona State, he really, really improved. Obviously, I think it speaks volumes about the type of player that Shamari is, being able to go from a true safety to a nickel corner, and really not missing a beat, almost getting better, right? You brought up a nose for the football, 4 forced fumbles a season, an interception, 4 pass deflections, over 70 total tackles. And he was a real anchor on this Arizona State defense, not just in coverage, but also in stopping the run in a conference that has so many dominant running backs.
Definitely.
And, you know, having a nose for a football, it's like what I say, there are so many high school parents that I think, at least for me, they're like, hey, what do you think about my son doing this, X, Y, and Z? Like
they're hitting you up.
I literally have a lot of individuals at the high school being like, hey, do you think this is an Arizona State player? Do you think you could? I have so many people that for some reason think that I can just like push tape to Kenny and being like, hey, go get this guy.
Guys, hit me up.
Like,
I'll make sure nobody sees that tape.
Like, it's just not happening. It's not happening like that. But like, what I always try and say is if your kid is good, right? If genuinely good and talented, they'll find you. Right? Not just Arizona State, but like a college will find you. The pros will find you.
A singular college.
Yes.
Maybe not Bama.
No, but if you're good at your small school, right? Like that's how it works, right? You're not going to be a ultra talented athlete and not get found.
Josh Allen.
Right? At this exactly.
John
dude that was
Morant
dominating
went to
Wyoming.
Murray State.
Like that is how that works. And for me, Shamari is that type of guy when we say that, hey, he's got a nose for the football. Maybe he is a little bit smaller than you'd like in a traditional safety, right? Just that 6 foot. Maybe he doesn't do everything that you'd love in the world perfectly.
Not small to the point of like,
he's not
like undraftable. Like, wow. No. He'd be a little undersized.
No, but there is a testament to if it's same thing with like on the offense side of the ball. If a dude scores 20 touchdowns, right? It doesn't really matter. All the other stuff. Like if he can find the end zone, same way Shamari just has a knack for finding the football defensively. Like there is going to be a team out there that values that and wants that. I mean, whether he did it, during the season or, I mean, just look what he's doing in the East-West Shrine Bowl practice. Look at this interception that he had just the other day. Shout out Jake from DNVR. It's like, look at the play on the ball here.
Oh, the nose,
to be able to turn around, get that football. Now, I will say the one thing right here, NFL rules. Don't just toss the ball back to the referee when you get to the league.
Yeah,
right?
but you can fix that.
Yeah, that's something.
That's way more coachable than whatever the hell he just did to grab that ball.
Absolutely. But like that right there, right? Having those moments in front of NFL scouts, NFL GMs that maybe weren't always dialed into Arizona State football games all season.
Or maybe the one game they were dialed in, you didn't play the first half.
Exactly. Right? Like he is going to find his way on an NFL roster. And I think in terms of draft stock, right, this is a guy in Shamari that was likely an undrafted free agent going into the season.
Agreed.
I think he would have been signed to a team. But I think Shamari, after the season that he had, has certainly driven his stock through the roof in terms of being like, hey, this guy could go anywhere in my estimation from rounds 5 to 7.
5, I think, would be the best case scenario.
Yeah, 5 is
and
the
5
peak.
is 5 is what I was mentioning, like the smart people talking themselves into it over the next 4 months. That feels like best case scenario for him. Have great workouts, have a great combine, show out in the East-West Bowl, right? Like
have a good pro day.
Have a great pro day. You know, get in front of these coaches, talk to them, have these coaches talk to Kenny, right? Who's great at not, I want to say selling his players, because it's like, you know, you're still selling a good product.
Yeah.
But he's good at, like, you know, being like, hey, this is how awesome this person is. And talented players get drafted high. Smart players have long careers, right? How many times have we seen first round draft picks, Isaiah Simmons, who have all the talent in the world, have all the physical, like, ability in the world to go top 10 in a draft, and you flame out in your career.
Yeah.
Right? And how many guys do you see make just a career from being smart? Think about Zach Bond, right?
Yeah.
He was a special teams guy. Career.
Shamari might be.
Which Cam might be. Right?
I think he's played himself out of having to be a special teams guy.
I think he'll be on special teams, though. I don't think he's going to be a special teams guy, but I think he'll be on special teams. I think he'd probably want to, right? Because he's just that type of sicko.
He's a sicko.
But when you're smart and you have a nose for the football, if you get in the NFL, which I don't think that there's a chance that even as an undrafted free agent, there's no chance that he doesn't end up on a practice squad, on some sort of roster to at least try to earn a spot after the season that he's had. If he gets a 5th, 6th round draft pick, you're going to see a lot of, man, the Tennessee Titans are in love with Shamari Simmons through camp so far.
God, that's so gross.
It is gross.
I don't want him to go to the Titans. I want him to go to a better team than the Tennessee Titans.
I have a terrible, terrible, terrible vision that I'll share when we talk about Cam Skattebo.
Oh God.
But with Shamari, smart, athletic, not undersized to the point where I feel like you could really look at it and say, like, he won't have a successful NFL career if he has everything else in place. I.e., look at Budda Baker, the type of heart and the nose for the football that he has. I have full, like, and maybe it's the bias of this season, right? Because sometimes it's hard to translate to the next level.
Yeah.
But with Shamari and obviously with Cam, I don't really have worries about them sticking around in the NFL. I don't know if they're going to have, you know, all Pro Bowl careers, but
that'd be nice.
As far as, like, not being out of the league in 2, 3, 4 years, like, I see them being around for a little bit.
I do too. Sharon in the chat saying, what early game was it this season where he had that monster
Texas
hit?
State.
Yeah, that was
I was literally thinking about that when I said Budda Baker and the similarities between him sniffing things out behind the line of scrimmage. Man. Like, Shamari Simmons straight up WWE speared the Texas State player.
Yeah, I mean,
like, the dude's body went like this.
He picked him up and dropped him into the dirt. He's
good.
I don't know if I've seen a player, and honestly, this kind of applies to Shamari and Scat, is I don't know if I've seen two players at Arizona State in the span of a year just boost their stock the way that those two have. And that's a big testament to them and the coaching staff, right? Obviously, Kenny has said it a number of times, and it's kind of obvious at this point, right? The great teams, right? The teams that consistently play in the college football playoff, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Alabama, right? Those are the guys that have their players drafted, right? The best players are on the best teams playing in the biggest games.
It's a factory.
And for Arizona State, this past season, they played in one of the biggest games all season. They were one of the best teams. And hey, don't you know, they've got at least two of some of the best players, I think, coming out of the Big 12 in Shamari and Scat.
And there is NFL pedigree with Arizona State.
There is.
Like, there's a lot
Maybe
of Arizona.
Not long lasting.
No, but as far as getting to the league.
Yes.
Right? And even like, and yes, there's been misses for sure, but offensive talent, which is, you know, obviously excluding Shamari, but like, you've seen a couple first round picks.
You have.
Right? Or at least former Arizona State players.
Not doing great, though.
No.
But it was a rough year for Arizona State to allow them in the league.
It was. But you have, now you're going to hold on to this, but like Jaden Daniels, like scouts are, what I'm saying is scouts are aware of Arizona State.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not like when we go to games, like I would say once you get a little bit later in the year, every game you'll see somebody in a quarter zip with a team on.
You see him at practices.
Right? Like I've seen Bills, I've seen Raiders, like
Dolphins. I've seen them all.
So like Arizona State is not some underground school.
No, it's
right?
not Austin Peay.
And so I do think that a lot of people are going to look at Shamari, and we could talk about Cam after the break.
Yeah.
They're going to look at Shamari and they're going to be like, if you can succeed in that system with what Kenny's doing, right? Because all the NFL world knows what Kenny's doing too. Like they're all plugged in with football. You don't see a story like that and not pay attention to it. Sit down with him and you watch some of his tape. You'll understand that this is a player that, at worst case scenario for Shamari, like the floor, I see being one of the more valuable practice squad players in the NFL. And like that's not a bad living. I think he's way better than that. But I think floor is some team just like, you make us better, we're going to keep you around our franchise.
I think that's valid. Look, we did talk a lot about Shamari, and rightfully so. I do want to get to Cam Skattebo, obviously going to be talking Link Rhodes and then ASU hoops on the other side of this quick break.
Everybody knows I'm a stats guy.
You are a stats guy.
You look at me, you got nerd. Stats guy.
I mean, you said it.
Statistically speaking,
yeah,
somebody listening to this podcast stinks. Statistically speaking, maybe somebody in this room stinks.
I mean,
but we don't, because we use our friends over at Mando, a men's deodorant brand that's hyper-focused on keeping every, and I mean every, aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. That means pits, check. Belly buttons, check. Balls, check. Butt cracks, check.
I mean, you did say every aspect.
Don't even get me started on the grundles, because check. Great sense and a lot of different ways to use it, and you can now get a Mando starter pack that's perfect for new customers for a cheaper price. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and of course, free shipping. As a special offer for PHNX Sun Devils listeners, new customers can get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code that equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code PHNX at shopmando.com. That's MANDO, shopmando.com. Please support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Stinkies.
Wow, Stinkies, huh?
Stinkies is crazy.
Look, Eric, I've got a question for you, and maybe some people in the chat can relate here, but do you have any big goals in 2025?
Sure.
Give me one.
Save more money.
Save more money. I think that's a valid one.
Be better set up for the future.
I think that is something that myself, you, Captain Redbeard, everybody can get on board with.
Yeah.
And look, when you need a place to figure out your finances, whether you're saving, spending money, investing money, Desert Financial, they are the place for you guys. Look, they're the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University. You know you can trust them because they've been doing it longer than all of us in this room combined have been alive. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been the place to go. Most trusted and largest local credit union in the Valley. Now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Look, I believe we are inching closer to 36,000 subscribers on YouTube. Would really appreciate it if you're not subscribed already. And look, we've got some stuff that we're gonna wait to announce, but some big interviews, or at least one big interview set up for this week.
Massive.
So definitely you're gonna want to be there for that. Make sure you are subscribed to PHNX Sports though, and you turn on the little dinger. Right?
The little dinger. We should call it the little dinger.
That's what I call it.
That's great.
The little dinger.
I will say massive thank you. So many, especially over the season, so many of the new subscribers on PHNX have been Sun Devils fans.
It's
like
awesome.
You guys. We track all the numbers.
We do.
Right? And we've sat in meetings, and you guys have helped.
You guys make us look really good in meetings.
Like, have helped grow us so much. From those of you who have been here since there were 8 people, live
My very first show that I did for PHNX Sun Devils was like 3 years ago, and it was a basketball post game. I think it was an ASU Colorado post game, potentially.
Wow, full circle.
Middle of the day, and there were 2 people watching that post game show. So to go from there to obviously the run in the Peach Bowl and all that stuff, and then
everybody in here
the
now,
the number continuing to grow. We really do appreciate everybody hopping in here.
And on audio. Thank you for rating us 5 stars, for listening.
All the diehards.
We couldn't do this without you guys. We could not talk about Cam Skattebo's NFL draft prospects on a Monday in the middle of January, if it was not for you all. So thank you all for being here. But Sharon
Skattebo.
That's what we're gonna call him. Good. Skattebo
not really.
Great.
It's not that good.
If he played basketball and was really good at defense,
okay, sure.
Skattebo.
I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it.
My vision with Cam Skattebo.
This is your ugly, dirty vision.
Now, I've
got a dirty vision too.
Let me frame this as this would probably be best case scenario for his career.
Best case scenario for his career.
But worst case scenario for the people
is he goes somewhere in the division.
He's going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Ugh. And he's going to help Patrick Mahomes with the devil magic.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Okay, here's the four worst case scenarios for Cam Skattebo.
Cam Skattebo to the Chiefs would make me sick to my stomach.
Unequivocally. Sorry.
Jeez, you're so upset.
Unequivocally, the 4 worst spots for Cam Skattebo to end up.
For what reason exactly?
For me.
For you personally.
For my personal life.
Okay.
And so many of those who are here today. Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, gross.
Sharon mentioned, like, you could see him excel there. You absolutely could see him.
Great coach, everybody great system, great team, whatever.
Everybody in that division would
cry.
Hate him.
I would cry
They
tears.
would hate Cam Skattebo because he was so good.
If that guy right there, I'd cry if that guy was in a Chiefs jersey and had to play the Chargers twice a year.
But it would be so good for his career. Okay. The Seattle Seahawks.
No, they got their guys. They got their guys.
I don't care. The Los Angeles Rams.
Also have their guys.
The San Francisco 49ers.
Now that potentially
that makes me want to die.
That could be a thing.
The thought of Cam Skattebo playing against my team twice a year. They love their white running backs.
They do love their white running backs. And what better way to pair Christian McCaffrey with a kid that idoled him?
The next Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Right? Let's statistically speaking, in college, only 2 players did what Cam Skattebo did.
Yeah.
Cam Skattebo and Christian McCaffrey. But let's go. Okay. Let's flush the bad thoughts. Best case scenario. Cardinals, Chargers, Texans. That covers the 3 of us on this show.
Yeah, that covers the 3 of us.
Plus, I think he would actually fit in well on all 3 of those teams.
You know a place that I can't get out of my head that I feel? I just feel that's going to fall in love with him?
You want to say it on 3?
We could say it on 3.
1, 2, 3.
The
Buffalo
Bears.
Bills.
Oh, no. I'm thinking. You tell me why you think the Bills, though.
He just matches that energy of Buffalo Bills.
He does match the energy of like a Buffalo, fan base, like a Bills Mafia.
Like jumping through a table wearing a Skattebo jersey.
Yeah, that just feels right.
Okay.
It's kind of gross.
It is gross.
It is gross. It is gross, but I can see
that.
I
can see that.
Bears is interesting.
I feel like the Chicago Bears with Ben Johnson now at head coach.
That's a good point.
Right, in terms of trying to establish an offensive identity. What was, obviously you look at what the Lions did for the last couple of seasons, how they were able to build such an offensive juggernaut. Obviously you have Jared Goff, you have one of the best offensive lines in football, but you also have 2 running backs that are just, what do they call them? Knuckles and something?
Sonic and Knuckles. Because one's fast and one is not. One is fast.
You've got your next Knuckles to the Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
and that's Cam Skattebo.
You would have a crowded room.
You don't have to waste a 1st or 2nd round pick because you need offensive linemen. Right, so you're drafting early offensive linemen if you're the Bears, and you get yourself a 3rd, 4th round running back and Cam Skattebo to pair him alongside like a DeAndre Swift or something like that. I could 100% see that. For some reason, that's just like sticking in my brain. It's January 27th. If this comes to fruition in April, I was right. Put me on an NFL staff. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I could also it just aesthetically speaking, just purely based off jerseys.
Yeah.
The Lions, I could see a Skattebo Lions jersey. What about joining former Sun Devil? Rashawn White.
No, that backfield is already crowded.
Yeah.
But I don't think crowded.
I think the thing with Cam Skattebo
is running back one there.
I don't think Cam Skattebo is getting drafted to be running back 1 anywhere. Cam Skattebo is being drafted to be a gadget. No, but that's why I'm saying with the Bears, like, again, they've got their Sonic. Now you need your Knuckles, right? Yeah.
You get a guy that can just
Knuckles
give
is
him
good.
8-10 carries a game. He's a bruiser, especially you put him in at the goal line. I could tell me that's not Ben Johnson. The dude runs trick plays like crazy. We just saw Scat throw a touchdown in the Peach Bowl.
I feel like Kenny and Ben are cut from the same cloth.
I'm telling you, dude. Skattebo to the Bears.
Okay,
it's happening.
What is the least?
Which is also gross.
It is gross. and feel bad for Scat because going to the Bears is
gross.
People are saying Denver with Bo Nix, 2 Kenny alums.
Potentially. I feel like their running back room's crowded, though. They got Javonte Williams. I don't know what they do with him. You got Audric Estime from Notre Dame. They got the little dude, McLaughlin. Like, they got a really, like, loaded running back room. And I've seen everybody, like, project Aaron Jones to them in free agency. Like, I don't know.
I think it Aaron Jones.
For me, and I know I'm a Chargers fan, so I'm a little jaded here. But he feels like such a Harbaugh guy, right? He feels like a dude.
You say that about every talented player.
No. Travis Hunter's not a Harbaugh guy. Like, I don't think Tyreek Hill's is a Harbaugh guy. Like, there are certain dudes that are just like blue collar lunch pail type of football players.
Yeah.
And Cam Skattebo screams, I am going to beat up on the opposing team for 60 minutes. And if I have to go extra, I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to give you everything I got. It just feels Harbaugh-esque to me. You got a J.K. Dobbins there. I don't know what they do with Gus Edwards. Maybe he is RB2 or 3 there.
I think Cam's going to have to earn his way to RB2 status. I think Cam is awesome. Kyle says Cam Skattebo is a saint.
No,
yes,
he's
but
not.
Also no.
He's a bear, dude, and it's gross.
Okay, him on the Saints.
Feel it.
Him on the Saints would get it.
I'm calling it.
You're calling the Saints?
Saints.
We should do
Alvin's old.
We should do like a little pool within the office
where he
people
goes.
pick. Yeah, where he goes.
Dude, it's so gross. He's gonna be a bear.
Okay.
I saw it and then I talked myself through it, and then I'm like, oh my God, it makes too much sense.
Okay, what about, I'm just gonna throw teams.
He's a
out
third
there.
round Chicago Bear.
Okay.
We don't even need to
third
talk
round
about
Chicago
it.
Bears. Yeah, stay within the All City family. Scat on the Ravens. Derrick Henry, I think, has one more year?
He's an aging running back.
He's a beast.
Justice Hill's a dog too, though.
Yeah, and they have that other guy. He's like he was a rookie last year.
But you're drafting Cam for the long.
Mitchell.
You're drafting Cam for the
Mitchell
long
or something like that.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Cam Skattebo on. I'm just gonna start.
This whole show is just like going through all 32.
So the Cardinals is tough because you just extended James Conner.
Yeah, I don't think.
But
I don't think he's a
and you have Amari DiMercado, right?
Didn't they just draft Trey Benson last year too?
Oh, sorry, Trey Benson is who I was thinking. Not Amari DiMercado. I don't know what I'm talking about. Trey Benson, yeah, the Florida State running back in the 3rd round. So it'd be a long shot for Scat, but I think he would still get playing time here. You're also drafting Scat to do like long term as well, like not necessarily like just contribute next year, but maybe be a guy that's like special teams, special packages, maybe some gadget plays. Stop saying he's a bear.
A bear,
Stop
dude.
saying
He's gonna be a bear.
Stop
and I'm
saying
gonna
he's
throw
a
up.
bear.
Oh,
Somebody, I think it was Hunter Zona said in the chat earlier, Erik was your nightmare vision, him ending up on the Giants. That's the thing. I don't want him going to the Giants.
Who's their running back?
I don't want him going
that they had
to
last
the
year?
Jets. Well, it ain't Saquon anymore.
No.
I don't want him going to the Jets.
Kyle's going through it because he knows what was his name.
I don't even. I shouldn't look it up because
I shouldn't either. It's just it's gonna make me mad.
Their running back
Tell
one from
me
this
what
year?
it starts with.
Wait, Taylor? No.
I'm not looking, but tell me what it starts with. See if Kyle and I can get it. Dude was a dog this year, though.
Yeah.
He was a free agent pickup in fantasy football, and he was an animal for a second. Tyrone Tracy or something.
Tyrone Tracy Jr., 839 yards on 192 carries, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, not bad. I did want to get to something that somebody said in the chat. I think it was Dan earlier saying, there we go. I can't say I'm a long time fan, but your videos have popped up on my YouTube Shorts feed, and I am glad to see. Let's see.
And I'm glad it has. I just graduated college from ASU, and it's nice to see the next gen doing their thing. With all the changes in media, it's awesome to see that there is still a way for local talent to shine. Talent might be a stretch. Says, best of luck to you guys, and hope you continue to grow and do what you love. God bless. We appreciate you.
You, Dan.
And
really
the Shorts feed, I feel like the Shorts feed to live pod pipeline is pretty strong. So if you found us in Shorts, or if you like our Shorts, thank you.
Many more on the way, by the way.
So many more
on the way.
Kyle can't handle the amount of shorts. No, he can.
We already recorded 2 shorts today that are scheduled, and I just feel like there's a short with the Chiefs. There's a short with the Bears.
I think we might have to clip this whole where will Cam Skattebo end up conversation.
Has Cam Skattebo ever been more of a Kansas City Chief?
Yeah, probably. It's okay. So
he's a bear.
I'd say top 3 most likely. Bear. Top 3 most likely just off gut feeling. Kansas City Chiefs.
But why? Why do you feel that?
Because he would.
But the thing,
because he would. It would be the smart move from them, and literally their entire offense is dump it out in the freaking flat and just pick up like 4 or 5 yards.
The only thing for me is when we're talking about the Chiefs for Scat, you have to remember where they're picking, right? So they're either picking the second to last or last in that third round. So basically their third round pick is an early fourth round pick.
Are they maybe end of the second round?
That's a reach, I think.
I think a
that's
team could talk themselves into Cam Skattebo.
I 100% see it. I could see a lot of teams talking themselves into Skat, and I'm here for it.
Once you get to the last 5 picks of the second round, I'm not saying that I would expect that. I'd say third, fourth round. I think fourth, once you get past the start of the fourth, I think anybody drafting Cam Skattebo is getting an unequivocal steal.
I think the Bears are sniping him.
I think start of the third round. Start of the fourth to end of the second is Cam Skattebo.
Fourth
and
is
so I think Kansas City, if they wanna kind of accelerate that, right, then I could see them doing that. I could just see them fitting into their offense. David says, as a Nashvilleian, I'm hoping
what they're
Titans.
called?
I guess so.
A Nashvilleian? That's actually a dope way to say you're from Nashville.
I feel like if you were a rapper from Nashville, Nashvilleian.
That's your name?
I'm Nashvilleian, worth a couple million. You know, something like that.
Jeez.
So Chiefs, Bears.
Yeah, the Bears is happening.
Bears, unfortunately, you're making sense.
I knocked that one out of the park.
I don't know why. I see the Buffalo Bills.
You see the Buffalo Bills.
More just off vibes and aesthetic alone.
Cam Skattebo and Josh Allen.
Yes. Could you imagine both of them lined up? And it's like, oh, who are you going to stop?
I mean...
And then James Cook there,
you
too.
definitely try and stop Josh Allen. Love Cam Skattebo.
But exactly. That's
your key is Josh Allen.
David said I made that up. That's awesome.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Look, I do want to continue talking more Skat, more Link Rhodes, more ASU hoops. That Skat conversation kind of just turned into where we see him going. Not so much how he boosted his stock, but I would say he definitely boosted his stock ridiculously over the season, dominating the Big 12.
You're telling me that we got off track?
Just slightly off track. Look, we are going to talk more Skat, Link Rhodes, who potentially might be in the chat, and then some ASU hoops on the other side of this quick break.
Sometimes you just need to relax a little bit. Take a break, kick your feet up, chill out.
Okay, I got you.
Do that with our friends over at Pure Edibles. Get your stinky feet off of our beautiful desk. Pure Edibles, founded in Arizona and available at 130 dispensaries statewide, a full-fledged candy company. I personally recommend their Kicks, which is their version of Starburst. Now, the best part about Pure is that they don't just tell you what's in it, they tell you how it's going to make you feel. With a direct blend of unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, CBD, and of course THC, you can add things such as uplifting, relaxing, balancing, sleepy, whatever you need to get through the day. Indica sativa hybrid, you can get through it with Pure Edibles. And the best part about it is they're a local company and they still taste good too.
They do.
And they're easily shareable. You can rip them or bite them in half, getting your correct dosage, which is very important when it comes to edibles. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries in Arizona.
Look, that is a ton of locations. Look, Circle K, they also have a ton of locations full of snacks and full of deals to help you guys save money. Look, Circle K, they are America's thirst shop. They are Rubus's thirst shop, Totri's thirst shop. Captain Redbeard, of course, only goes to Circle K. Look, join the Inner Circle. It's Circle K's free membership program, and it's a way to help you guys save money every single time that you stop by your local Circle K. Easy to download the app, okay? Enter your email and phone number, and boom, that's it. You're fully enrolled. Next time you pull up to the pump, all you got to do, type in your phone number to start cashing in on those deals. So what kind of deals are we talking about? Well, how about saving 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups? And if that's not enough, they're going to help you save money literally every single day. You could save 3 cents per gallon every day. Let's say you wanted to fill up Monday through Sunday. Well, you'd be saving money by doing it. Plus, there's plenty of other member-exclusive deals and discounts. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Joey in the chat saying James Cook must have died. Yeah. Now, James Cook also dog. He's don't get it twisted. He's RB1 in Buffalo.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about Cam Skattebo being RB1 any of these places. Not year one.
No.
Eventually, maybe.
What were you wanting to say?
Glenn says, is Skat the best pass catching running back in the draft? He is pretty damn good.
Let me look.
That is quite the layer to his game.
He might be. He might be the most overall, like,
Five tool back.
Yeah, like we said, right? He is a Swiss Army knife with brass knuckles. Like that's just kind of what he is as a player.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ashton Genty, people love him. I'm a big fan of RJ Harvey. I don't know why he's projected to go so much later than all the other running backs, but this is a stacked running back class.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen a running back class like this in I don't know how long. Right?
Does that affect when Cam is taken?
No, because I still feel like Scat has, earned his place. Earned his place.
As
Now,
as RB2?
I don't think he's a second running back off the board. I think he's probably like the fourth running back off the board.
Who's the second and third?
Amarian Hampton, the dude from North Carolina, which I don't see. I'd rather have Scat. And then Judkins, Ohio State.
Yeah, Judkins is the
Judkins. Those, and then obviously Ashton Genty. I think Genty's the only one that goes in the first round. I think there might be some people that really talk themselves, people on the back end of that first round that are like, hey, Quinshon Judkins is not going to be there at the end of the second when we pick, and they reach on him.
And then there's going to be a run on running backs after that, though, I feel like.
I think
because you see that happen all the time.
I think late second round, third round, you're going to start to see running backs fly off the board. And I think that's probably the spot for Cam Skattebo. Like you said, I think any team that gets Cam Skattebo in the third round is value.
Sure.
I think he's a second round talent. But there are going to be some knocks on him because of his size, because, wear and tear is a thing, right? At this level. And the fact of the matter is, when we get to the combine, he's probably not going to run the fastest 40-yard dash you ever saw.
No.
So
he's probably going to, I think, but he'll run faster than people expect.
I agree. I agree.
Like, it's all about
I don't care what he runs, by the way.
No, not at all. I don't think anybody does. There was that report that NFL Scout says, I don't care what he runs in the combine. Joey says, what about the Cardinals? LL, they could use some more dogs. I'm sorry. We're going back to where he's going to fit in the NFL. We'll get back to, the season he did have here. The Cardinals are interesting because I don't think their running back room is like so talented to the point that you can talk yourself out of taking a shot at Cam Skattebo, but they're positions of need.
Exactly.
And there are so many more for high first, second, third, fourth round picks, and they're probably going to trade back to get multiple of picks in that area. They need to fill out their defense. Like they need to take shots in other places. I think they have running back figured out. I think if Cam were to slide, I could see them taking him. But I don't.
The fourth for them to touch him.
I think top 3 rounds for the Cardinals, you're not touching running back with the position that their franchise is in. As much as I would like Cam Skattebo, but
yeah, they're in a must-win now mode going into this year. And again, you have your lead running back in James Conner. You drafted a guy just last year in Benson. Like you said, I think there are positions of need across that defense and maybe the offensive line.
Like they could totally use Cam Skattebo, but not as much as they could use other players.
Any team in the NFL could use a Cam Skattebo.
Yeah.
Special teams, backup running back, third string running back. He's the type of guy that you 100% draft, put him in your locker room, and he makes your overall team better.
Sure.
And the same can be said for Shamari, right? Like I know we started the show talking about Shamari and we got really far into Scat. But I think Shamari does that as well, and I think that's something that is going to be, the future of Arizona State in the NFL, is these are going to be guys that you draft because of, they're talented, but they're also locker room guys.
If you are going to play at the NFL level, even on a practice squad, you are talented. There are other things that can separate you from others, right? Unless you're a top 10, top 30 guy, right? What you do besides just your talent is what determines whether or not you're valuable to a team.
Yeah.
And those are two guys who do that. But what we saw from Cam, going into this year, would you have said Cam Skattebo would have even gotten drafted going into this year?
Yes, I always
You would have
felt,
thought 6th, 7th round.
Probably 7th round.
Yeah.
I always felt, even going back to last year, that you could see the talent. You could see what he brought. Obviously, the contact balance, the ball carrier vision, the trucking ability, and now on top of the fact of the matter is, like, he could throw the football, he can catch the football, he could play in special teams, he can run the football, and now you see it at a level where it's like, hey, I'm not just doing these things, I'm doing these for an 11-win football team in the college football playoff, and I'm doing them against some of the best defenses in college football, specifically when you look back to that Texas game, right? Being able to run the football, throw the football, catch the football, play on special teams, he did everything for Arizona State. And I think that's why people are knocking the Sun Devils going into 2025 is because they're like, hey, this guy did everything for you. And while that might be true, right, that's not how this program is built. It's not built on, hey, Cam Skattebo, we need a Cam Skattebo every year. That's not what Kenny Dillingham and Marcus Arroyo want to do long term.
You can't build a program around that.
No, but
you'd be screwed.
But Cam Skattebo was that guy this past season, right? And he did it for a winning football team the same way that some of these other running backs are, in my estimation, getting devalued, right? Like an RJ Harvey, I think, is a phenomenal running back. I think he's a top 5 running back probably in this class. He's not a rounds 1 through 3 guy. And that's part of, the running back position being devalued. But there's guys in this conference.
Changing it
a
little bit.
But you got guys like a Scat, a DJ Giddens, a Devin Neal, an RJ Harvey, an Ollie Gordon. Like, you got so many running backs in this conference. Taj Brooks. Like, and everybody, and rightfully so, are only talking about Ashton Genty, right? I get that. But how many years has it felt like somebody reaches, quote unquote, reaches on a running back, right? The Lions jumped and took Jahmyr Gibbs way before anybody expected them to take Jahmyr Gibbs, right? I don't know if anybody had a first round grade.
People were making fun of them.
Yeah,
for doing that.
I was making fun of them. I'm like, what are we doing drafting a running back?
And they were celebrating.
Yeah, and they got their guy. Look at the impact. Jahmyr Gibbs, top 3 running back in the NFL. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Cam Skattebo is going to be a top 3 running back in the NFL. I think he's going to be a really talented running back one day. But every year it feels like somebody talks themselves into, hey, we think this guy can be a game changer, a difference maker, and they take their shot in the first, early second round. I would 100% say that this is it. Right, I think Cam Skattebo could be that type of player where somebody at the back end of the first round is like, hey, this is our guy. Now, again, I think he's more of a second round, third round guy. But I don't know, man. Things happen in the NFL draft that you don't always expect.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. These are the type of guys that teams are going to talk themselves into as time goes on.
Yeah,
because they're good character guys who are incredible athletes, right? And you're going to get them testing. You're going to get them in your building.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear them speak, and then you're going to talk to Kenny, and they're going to talk to your coaching staff about that. They're going to talk to the other players.
They're going to talk to us
about them, and then they're going to come to Anthony Totri, the DMs, like all the high school players are like, "Hey, is this Arizona State player?"
I'm going to just say that right now. If you are a high school mom or dad or child, you don't need to DM me your tape and all that stuff or ask me to do X, Y, and Z. I don't have that pull, right? It's just not gonna. I am not the difference. Okay, I am not the difference maker between your son getting a offer at Arizona State and him not. I am not that guy. Okay, I do want to move on though. Talk about a guy that will be at Arizona State.
Oh, we'll talk more draft as we get closer.
I mean, yeah, we can 100%. We'll do that 100%.
It's just going to be an hour of me naming teams and be like, how would Cam Skattebo fit in there?
I mean,
I'm sorry, I keep derailing us. Let's talk about Link Rhodes.
Link Rhodes, yes. He committed to Arizona State, I believe, last night. JUCO wide receiver and special teams guy. We do have some tape of his past season, of just what he was able to provide for his last school. Again, a JUCO wide receiver. Let's go ahead and take a look at just what this guy brings on the field.
I'm watching.
I mean, start to watch this part. Obviously, up top here. Love the ability to high point the ball. Also, kind of a dog, just staring at him. I love the build. He looks bigger than 6'1".
Definitely.
So again, this is a kid that I'm really interested to see what they do with him in this wide receiver room, because now it's starting to feel like it is a stacked wide receiver room.
He might be kick return guy.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Because they didn't really have a kick return guy this year.
No, it was mainly Melquan Stovall and
Jake Smith.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe this is your guy, your go-to special teams kick and punt returner.
The way that he runs and his physical build, you're not catching him. Wow. That's a lot of separation.
That is a lot of separation. And again, him making plays on special teams is something that, you didn't see a ton of for Arizona State this past season, right? Was like super long and impactful returns. Imagine what that could do for this offense.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he's a dog, dude.
Oh, my, yeah. Get this guy as our kick return specialist. Give him some packages. You could put this guy in the Wildcat.
It might just be the hair. It might just be the hair and the fact that he plays on special teams. But he kind of reminds me of a Josh Cribbs. Okay. It might just be the hair and the fact that he's a special teamer.
Yeah.
But again, being able to get a guy, maybe have that kind of impact in special teams, I think is something that we didn't talk a ton about, right? A lot of people, when we talked about special teams, were like, hey, we need a kicker, right? Well, guess what? You got a kicker now. Being able to have a guy now that can potentially make a difference in the return game is something that we haven't really even considered.
No, we didn't talk about that at all. But that is something that you pick up, especially before the college football changes their kickoff rules to match, NFL
I hate that
stuff.
kickoff format.
But I think that you could see him being put in offensive packages, right? He clearly can catch, like he can run as well. So you could see them using him creatively. I don't know if you could be like, this guy is going to be getting consistent offensive snaps with, like you said, how crowded the wide receiver room is. And even it's like, if you're going to use him in the running game as well, or the Wildcat formation, the Wildscat formation, but like the return game, I mean, there are a few ways for this team to improve upon last year.
Yeah.
Right. And the return game is, like you said, not one we talked about a lot. We talked about other special teams, kicking. But if he can be a return specialist, that is a layer. That is a layer to this that would be pretty sweet.
It'd be a lot of fun. Look, he's transferring from San Joaquin Delta College in California. This past season, 46 catches, 607 yards. That is very serviceable. 9 kick returns for 271 yards, 894 all-purpose yards there, and then 5 touchdowns as well this season. Of course, you'd love to be able to have him come in immediately and be that impact return man. But I'm really interested to see what they do with Link Rhodes, whether that be a wide receiver spot. I don't think it's just going to be his return game to go out there and lose. I think there are a number of really talented, quick players that Arizona State could consider for special teams.
Who else
return.
did you put in there?
I think a Zechariah Sample is a name that you could throw in there.
Too small?
I don't think he's too small. I just don't know if you want to
put him in that.
I'm not the biggest fan of putting really, really talented, impactful offensive players
in
at the return position. Yeah, like Elijah Badger was a return man a couple years ago for Arizona State, and that just made me sick to my stomach. I was like, why do you have
anybody else?
Why do you have the best player returning kicks? Right? You don't see that in the league. Saquon Barkley's not returning.
It should have been Conyers. It should have been Conyers back there.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. But it's fun. It's fun competition.
Yeah.
It's fun competition.
No spot is given.
Link Rhodes, are you kidding me? Love that name.
Yeah, Link Rhodes is an awesome name. You know me. That's my number one.
Name guy.
My number one test on any college athlete is,
do you have an early favorite? Do you have an early favorite for best name on the roster?
Oh, no, that's going to have to be a draft. Like, you're going to have to give me some time.
Oh, I've got one specifically. I can't remember off the top of my head because it's a longer name. Huh?
Do you still have the Young Goat guy?
Yeah, that was the guy that I was talking about. Young Goat is just, what a name, huh? What a name. Also, don't sleep on Tristan Bacon. It's a great name.
Tristan Bacon is a good name. The simple ones, sometimes they do the best.
Harry Hassman.
That is a baseball player or a football player from like the
Uriah
70s.
Nalomes. Come on. These are all
short,
just freshmen.
Sweet, to the point. AJ passes the name test.
This is just a signing
Four
class.
Four letters in a name rocks.
4 letters in a name is a power move.
Demarius Man Robinson.
That's a good one.
That's a fighter name. Butter is a great nickname for sure.
Ghost Rouser is still the name.
Ghost Rouser is definitely
that's a tough name to beat out there. Let's see if there's anything else. No, I'd say that those are probably.
If Kavion Thunderbird was still on the roster, he'd be in the conversation.
Yeah. Ian Hershey's one that you still got to throw in there.
No, you don't.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, Prayer
Young Black Goat is.
It's crazy. It's a crazy name.
That is the NCAA 20, the college football 25 name.
I'm just a random player.
What was the
I don't know. Name? It was your thing.
No, it's fine because you guys started calling me that is my nickname. All right, we gotta take a break and we'll be back talking little hoops after this. Love our friends over at Branded Bills. Perfect headwear and apparel. So comfortable.
Very comfy.
So great as far as like they don't fall apart. You're not, wearing your hat 10, 15, 20 times.
Can I say something about Brandon Bill's hats?
Sure.
You know how people, and I am one of these people, that absolutely adore like the other side of the pillow when it's cool?
Yeah.
I feel like Brandon Bill's hats, when you put it on, it feels like the other side of the pillow at all times.
The material's fantastic, and it's so strong. Like, you don't wear it all these times and it starts to fall apart and the strings start coming out and the logo's falling off, and because it was ironed on. No. Real rubber logo, really good texture materials on their snapbacks, truckers, fitted beanies, or tees. They have you covered with performance and style.
Quality.
Of course, they have partnerships with ASU. They have partnerships with the Suns and U of A. Local company out of Mesa, Arizona. Head to BrandonBills.com. Use code PHNX for 20% off your first order.
There you go. Thank you for.
I wanted to up it.
I know that's fair. We don't have the.
We
don't have the power to be able to do that. Look, we do have the power to tell you guys where the best place to go get your tickets is, and that is, of course, Game Time. Whether you are interested in maybe going to the Super Bowl, splurge a little in New Orleans, or maybe you just want to check out an ASU basketball game, Game Time, they are the ticketing app for you. They've got a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. Look, the thing that I love most about Game Time is it feels like the longer you wait, aka if you're a procrastinator like myself, the deals only get better. And look, there's some big ASU hoops games going on. Obviously, you got one on Tuesday night, and then you got one, just saying, against your rival, Arizona, here in Tempe. Definitely get your tickets for that. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Speaking of that game on Saturday,
Takeover.
Go phnx.com/events. Come hang out, have a little brunch, little breakfast with the ASU and the U of A guys at Postino for the takeover pregame party February 1st. And then, of course, comes with tickets to the games.
A little brekkie beatdown.
We would absolutely love to make sure that Arizona State dominated all of the numbers when it came to that. So go to gophnx.com/events, get a ticket and a ticket to our pregame party, and of course to the takeover. We will be there.
We will be there.
We will have to leave to go do a show.
I'm going to make a bet.
There.
I want to make a bet with Damon.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're going to call him right now?
I'm going to call him right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if he picks up the phone real quick, and we'll see if we can get him his live reaction.
Okay.
Let's just hope he doesn't. He might not answer me.
Probably won't answer.
There are times where he just straight up doesn't answer me.
I just hope he answers you
in an appropriate manner. He should. He's gonna say like, "What's up, big dog?"
Yeah,
something like that. If he picks up, but we'll see. There is a chance that he realizes it's 1:52 and we're live, and he doesn't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
But we will make a bet. 100%. Come on.
Hi, this is Damon.
Boo.
Jeez, Damon.
Okay, well, let's talk about actual hoops, because before we get to Saturday, where we'll see all of you for the takeover, the epitome of a must-win tomorrow night.
You got to win that game.
Taking on Colorado. 0-8 in Big 12 play are the Colorado
worst
Buffaloes.
team in the conference right now.
Yeah. ASU, listen, this is a dog-eat-dog conference.
You got to win. You got to be
You
a dog.
need to win these games. Not even just to make the tournament, just to stay afloat.
Yes.
Like, you need to win this
This is
game.
a confidence game. You have to win this game against a bad team in a really good conference to be able to build a little bit of confidence going forward and having to do what you have to do the rest of the way, right? You've got games against Arizona, a ranked Texas Tech team now. You still got a game against Houston, who pulled off, a crazy
one of the most
game.
insane wins
Just
I've
a
ever
crazy
seen.
game against Kansas, right? Like, you still have so many big time opponents on the schedule that being able to take down a team in Colorado that hasn't won a game in conference play yet is going to be huge for, I think, morale, for the fan base, and for some of these younger players like a Josan Sannon and Jaden Quaintance, who are so accustomed to winning in their careers, but maybe haven't done it as much as they're used to this season. They're going to have to do it. And look, they're doing it against a CU team that, in my estimation, has a deeper bench, right? They roll with more guys than Arizona State does. However, it's not
not saying much.
It's not a better team because they're because they go deeper on the rotation.
I don't know how deep everybody's rotation is in this conference, Arizona State might have the thinnest.
They might.
Arizona State has a pretty
8-man rotation on a great night.
on a great fully healthy night.
Fully healthy night.
Right. Colorado, of course, is a team that you've already blown out. They are
Yes.
one of your 2 Big 12 wins. You want to know what a game against Colorado is perfect for, Totri?
Confidence?
Yes.
Tell me.
Implementing an offensive system. When you take on lower opponents that you should beat, you take them seriously and you take it as an opportunity to build your team up, to build your camaraderie, to build your offensive and defensive identity.
Yeah.
Right? Like the same way that if, you're working a job, right? And, your day-to-day work, right? That's how you can get better. And then comes the big test. Well, what did you do in your day-to-day that led you to this big test? Tomorrow's the day-to-day. Tomorrow's your doldrums of the Big 12. You need to blow them out. Same way that you did when you were at DFA, right?
Yeah.
Quaintance, Sannon,
Sannon
DJ
didn't
Freeman.
even play in that game, by
Right.
the way, where they won by 20.
That was the first game that he missed, right?
I don't know.
I think that was the first game he missed. JJ says the Amir Ali game. I don't know if
I want an Amir Ali game.
If they don't beat Colorado, you can flush the season down the toilet as far as postseason hopes.
You
You're
can flush
11-8.
everything.
You're 2-6 in
Flush
conference.
everything if they lose.
Except for you still want to watch Shaden Quaintance. You still want to watch Josan Sanders.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
there's still
saying
reasons
flush
to watch
everything.
the team.
But what I'm saying is, if you lose to Colorado,
Postseason expectations.
Postseason expectations are through the floor. And then, trying to be able to retain these guys, right? If you can't beat up on a bad, sorry team like Colorado, what makes you think these kids are going to want to come back next year, right? Like Acquaintance, a Sannon, you're going to have to beat Colorado's tail. And I think this team can do it. Last time these 2 teams played, Arizona State won by 20 points. They did it without their best scorer and Josan Sannon. Part of the reason was because they played phenomenal defense. Colorado shot 34% from the floor on a 10-man rotation that night and shot 12.5%, 3 of 24 from 3.
That's crazy.
Right? Arguably their best scorer in Julian Hammond III didn't score. Took 7 shots, 3 from 3, and did not get a single bucket. He averages, 13 points a game for Colorado? Their leading scorer did not score against Arizona State. Their best player was Trevor Baskin, who scored 23 points, 23 of Colorado's 61 in that game. Nobody else really did anything. Like, you got to have a night, again, where you are like, okay, we are just abusing their primary ball handler, their scorer, right? We're smothering them. And we are just letting our dudes go. Like, BJ Freeman had 19 points. Jihad had 17 points. Quainton, that was really his first game that we saw have him some sort of offensive game. He scored 11 in that game.
Yeah. But you have to remember, there are a couple factors here. ASU, of course, their short rotation. They're playing on the road.
They are playing on the road.
Elevation is going to be something.
It's a tough place to play.
And the way that we're talking about Colorado, okay, 9-10 overall, 0-8.
They're the worst team in this conference.
They're like the current Oklahoma State for football.
Exactly.
Only a 52.6% chance on ESPN's matchup prediction for the Sun Devils to win.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't.
So this is not this is a game that we're saying you need to blow out. I don't think this is a game that ASU has earned the expectation of a blowout.
I think they blow them out.
I hope. I don't expect it. I want it. I need it. I don't expect it. This team, I don't walk into any game.
Pronunciation.
Yeah, I don't walk into any game expecting a blowout.
I expect them to win their next 2 games. I expect them to beat
win.
Colorado. And I expect
them the U of A game
they're
is
going to beat
interesting.
Arizona. They're going to beat Arizona.
I want it more than anything, but you are confident to another level.
Yeah. I think we talked about it, right? This is a team that, they play dirty games sometimes. They're the type of team that, will play up and down to their competition. That's fine. They've always done that. But they're a team that's going to come out and they're going to hit you in the mouth. Sure. And if you're not ready for it, right, if you mentally can't respond to that, then they're going to get a dub. That's what they've done for years under Bobby Hurley, beating good teams, beating methodical teams, beating systematic teams. Why? Because sometimes when you get out on the court with 5 dudes who are just playing ball, right, whether they're doing it to a super high schematic level like we want them to, or they're just out there balling, which is sometimes
dogs.
What they do. Sometimes they're dogs.
Just grinding it out.
Arizona State, they've got 5 dogs, right? Maybe 6, depending on... I'll give them 6 dogs. They're a team that I think 100% is going to smack Arizona in the mouth, and I think this is a weak Arizona team. I think they've got some stars, but I think you saw it in non-con, right? You saw a team that was just flustered, that, didn't really know who the guy was. If Arizona State builds a lead at home, I don't see Arizona coming back.
Let me just say,
maybe that's just me being overconfident.
I'm rooting for you to be right. I want it more than
how
anything.
often am I wrong? Genuinely think about it. Genuinely think about it. How often can you look to me and be like, you were wrong on that, as it relates to football and basketball?
There is one that's very pertinent to the show that we've done today.
That we did today?
Today.
That I said was wrong?
You were very wrong on a player.
I was wrong on Shamari Simmons. I was very wrong on Shamari Simmons. I was very wrong
We're
on Shamari
sitting here
Simmons.
talking about
He also didn't play. He also didn't play that same position last year.
By the way, if you're watching on TV, we appreciate you watching.
Last year he was
Party
a
always
safety.
continues over at GoPHNX.com.
Last year was a safety. This year a nickel. Totally different position. Just saying on that. But no, I was wrong. Is that the one? Is that the one you have?
Saying that's the one that was pertinent to this. That was the one that was pertinent to this.
How often do we sit there and watch ASU basketball games and I'm with Kyle and you're like, oh, they're up on Iowa State. I'm like, dude, they're going to lose this game.
Well, I mean, you're right. Okay.
I'm not wrong often.
Arizona.
Back me up here, Kyle.
As rough of as a non-con.
No, you're right. It's sad for me to sit there because you're right, and I'm like, man, I want them to actually win.
Well, Kyle's new to the ASU basketball.
They're gonna lose this game.
Yeah, they'll find a way.
That's just the ASU basketball. You will definitely learn.
What I'm trying to say is, I don't sit here often and say I think Arizona State basketball is gonna beat this team. Right?
Yeah.
Many people don't, but I feel like this team could beat Arizona.
Oh, they could have. I
think they might sweep them.
They could.
I think
they might sweep them. Listen, Arizona is 7-1 in conference right now. Their only loss is to Texas Tech on the road, and they lost by 16, but that game was closer than 16 points. They're around 30, basically, if you break it out in the AP rankings right now. I think that they do have an argument to be ranked with wins over 25 Baylor, 21 West Virginia, then 16 Cincinnati.
Cry me a river. I'm not sitting here talking about Arizona being ranked.
All I'm saying is, if Arizona State does sweep them, then that is rejuvenating to the whole season.
Those are your signature wins.
I wouldn't put my money on it, but I want it.
I'd put $1 on it.
The Miami Heat are suspending Jimmy Butler indefinitely. Would you look at that?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Look, before we get out of here again,
Sorry,
appreciate
guys.
everybody. Hit that
Different
like
side
button.
of my brain.
Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. If you are here in the Valley and you do want to go to that Arizona State-Arizona game this weekend with us, again, go PHNX.com. Click the events tab. Check out all the information for the takeover on February 1st. It is going to be an absolute blast of a game, a blast of an environment, and let's help Hurley squad get a big dub over Tommy Lloyd's Wildcats.
Would be huge.
Would be huge for the program. Guys, that is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils show. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow this guy, old dog legs here, at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You can follow Captain Redbeard at K Coop Sports. We will see you guys Tuesday night for a post-game show. Arizona State taking on Colorado. In the meantime, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.